Hey everyone, and welcome to Talk with Carrie Jemii. Today we're talking about being single. So I had to play Living Singles clip because I remember listening to that song when I was growing up. I was like, oh, I can't wait to be grown and be single and fabulous and having fun. Little did I know that being single is not always fun. So tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. And I have some very great guests and special guests that's going to help me facilitate this conversation tonight. And as I always say, I am super excited for them to be here. So I'm going to have you welcome to the stage, Dr. Stephanie Ricks and Mr. Dominic. How are you guys doing tonight?
Hi, everyone.
Good. Well, I am again excited for you guys to be here. Part of what I do with Let's Talk with Carrie Jemii is basically do like life coaching, right? So we're talking about being single, and we all know that that is not always easy, right? So I'm going to ask a question just to get us in the groove, and of course, I want the audience to know. Ask your questions, and we'll be able to answer them throughout the show. But just to get us warmed up a little bit, I'm going to ask the question to both of you guys. We'll start with you, Stephanie. So, what is it like to you being single? What does being single mean to you?
Being single at 38 or being single when I was in my 20s?
Either way, you could gravitate.
Okay. Being single to me is, of course, when I was, in my 20s, I just, really took advantage of being single. So now being single to me means that I literally really have that one-on-one time with God. I can talk to him, read my Bible, find out what it is that he wants me to do, find out my assignments, and also kind of come and go as I please. Have fun with my friends, don't really have to answer to anyone, and just be a good time. That loneliness kind of kick in sometime, but being single is just really kind of finding out who I am and where God wants me to go and do.
Excellent. Dominic?
Ooh, all right. All right. So for me, being single for me, it's a breath of fresh air. It's something I'm not used to. I mean, majority of my 20s, I was in a relationship. So 8.5, almost 9 years. So being single is new. There's nobody on the side. There's nobody to talk to. Um, or you're getting to learn a whole new person all over again. So the process is rigorous. It's not a great process. I feel like you start over every day almost.
I agree. It can be difficult. Can you give me? I need you to give me a little bit more volume though. So turn up your speaker a little bit or your computer volume. You're a little low. We want to make sure we get all this good stuff you saying, right?
Yeah, but
So
can you hear me now?
yeah, much better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So pretty much, like I said, I was in an 8 year relationship, almost 9. So being single in your 30s, it's a brand new feeling. You have kids, you got businesses, you got accounts, you got so much stuff. So when you just single, and it's kind of piggyback off what you're saying, you don't have to answer to nobody. You do what you want to at any time. So
Right.
being single for me is something new. Majority of my life, I was never single. So this
Right.
this last 2.5, 2 years, it's like a roller coaster almost.
Okay. All right. Well, we don't want it to be a roller coaster, but we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of that. So y'all touched on it a little bit. Okay. So basically, I want to just do a contrast. I want you to tell me what do you think the positives are of being single and some of the negative about with being single. We'll start with you this time, Dominic. So what are some of the positives? I know you mentioned some negatives, but what are some positives about being a single male?
I mean, some of the positives I feel like of being a single male is you get to focus on yourself most importantly. Being in a situation all the time or dealing with people, you really get to find yourself. I found out what made me happy. I found out, different things about myself because I never had the time to really sit back and really value anything or value something, something time itself. Some days I want to come in, I want to be bothered. Some days I get to enjoy my freedom anyway. So not in a bad way. It's just more like I come home, it's quiet. I don't have to deal with nobody. It just the simple things, not necessarily the big things. Some of the smaller things that I just didn't have a chance to do in a relationship.
Okay. So what are the negatives do you see being a single man?
Mm, cook meals. Cook meals. Um, what else? The constant dating, the trying to figure somebody out, answering the same question over and over and over again.
Mm.
What you do for a living? Uh, something you like. You know. So I mean, honestly, it has good and its bads.
Okay. Dr. Riggs, Dr. Stephanie, what would you say are the positives and negatives?
I guess the positive again is what I said earlier. It's more so, really having that chance to know what my mission and my assignment is, while being a single woman. Um, just getting to know who Stephanie is. Now, the negative is, not really having that companion or someone who you can come home to and share about your day. Sometimes you just want to talk. It's good to talk to God. I really talk to him, but sometimes you want that man that's sitting right there and be like, "Babe, let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
my boss did." I just and have somebody that will have your back and say, "You know what, she did," or whatever the case may be.
Right,
The
right,
negative part of being, a single woman that we don't have. We come home and we don't have that man. That body, that physical body. I remember like last night, I was talking to God and I was like, "Lord, I know you my father. I know you my husband, my heavenly husband. I know you my mother, doctor, lawyer, all of that. But I need a man, a physical being right here that I can talk to." And that's the negative part.
Now,
Keeping it real. That's just what it is.
I totally agree. I agree with both of you guys. It is definitely a journey where you can get to know yourself. A lot of people don't even take the time to do that before they jump in from one relationship to the other. And sometimes you do need to take a break to figure out what you like and what's important before you start dating someone else. And then, like you said, the negatives is not having that consistent companionship, like someone who really knows you. So like you said, dating, you don't have to, oh God, they don't even know my personality. So you saying something, they take it out of context because they really don't know you. So having a relationship with somebody, they kind of get to know you, you know each other, and it kind of can work. So I see a little lag here. I guess my internet. Let me see when to catch up. Okay, great. So we're gonna move on to the next question. I don't see any questions in the chat yet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to navigate this. Um, so is it, how can you do being single wrong? Like, is it a wrong way to be single?
A wrong way to be single, and not really a wrong way of being dating, but a wrong way to be single.
Yes.
I think the wrong way for me, one of the wrong ways of being single is not folks just wanting to be in a relationship so bad that you forget about who you are, and you forget about taking advantage of all of the opportunities that you have out there to build up yourself, to fix problems that you see within yourself. And if it's the wrong way, then it's always not taking time, sort of like what you said, not taking time to breathe, jumping in one relationship, that relationship, this relationship, the next guy here, and not really taking the time to be single.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. Dominic, do you think it's a wrong way to be single as a man?
I mean, okay. So honestly speaking, yeah. So one thing I'm saying, if you're gonna live here in Georgia, I won't even say Atlanta. I'm just say Georgia's period. The man to women ratio is so high, it's ridiculous. It's like I'm not sure what the ratio is. So myself, for example, being a single man, I know what I got going on. I know that I look good. I know I look pretty decent to a certain extent. And if you're gonna live here in Georgia, I feel like as a man, you have options. So
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a wrong way to do it. Instead of you taking your time to just really figure out a person, you can just jump from person to person, and you giving nobody the time that they need or the time that you need, which that happens a lot here. So it's definitely it's a lot of ways of being single going wrong. You can think you want something, or you chasing your past and you bringing it into the future. Think, hey, so it's definitely a lot of ways to date single or date wrong.
Okay. So I don't know if it's a lag on my part. If it is, I don't know. I did have a Wi-Fi that disconnected earlier. Um, so I think it is a little lag. Is it there? So
Yeah, I'm here. I
so
can
let
hear you.
me just dive a little deeper. So do you think that using like dating apps and doing this serial dating thing like Tinder and all that, is that a wrong way to date, or is that, do you think that is a good way to get yourself back out there if you're single?
Honestly, using the apps, I would say because of the pandemic, you're never going to be able to date the same way. So right
Hmm.
now, you have a lot of people who's going to apps who's probably not used to apps. As me, like for me, for instance, if I see a woman I like where I'm in a market, I'm walking by, I'm downtown or whatever the case may be, I'm going to approach this woman. Hey, how you doing? My name is Dominic. How you doing? With the pandemic going on, everybody have on masks. Everywhere you go, you see a million people with masks on. You can't even see how people look anymore. So
True.
a lot of
True.
people are running to the apps because you're sitting at home. Well, a lot of people sitting at home and working from home. It's no other real way for you to get out and really explore yourself like you once used to do. So with the apps, I feel like a lot of people are running to the apps. What do you do when you're already single, you're lonely, and then it's no way for you to go out and meet people because you're trying your best to stay in the house.
Right.
Sometimes the apps is all people have. That's a lot of downfalls of the app, but I'll let y'all take the floor on that one.
Stephanie, what you think?
I see absolutely nothing wrong with dating before with apps before the pandemic, while the pandemic, after the pandemic, till the end of time. I think it's however it's no perfect way to find someone. So if you find someone via app, if you find someone in the supermarket, if you find someone walking down the street, that's just how you divinely you met. So no, I don't think because one this is the thing. If they're gonna be crazy, they crazy on from the app, and they crazy when you meet them at the place in the market. So that's just what it is. Like the crazy is not gonna be separated from the app and from the supermarket. So I think wherever now. With that being said, some people do kind of put on fronts in the app, but people put on fronts when you see them. Somebody when you see them face to face, everybody has the opportunity to put on a front. So I don't think it's a wrong. No, I don't think finding someone via any app is wrong.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. And just laughing what you said, because dating apps been out since what? Early, like
I've
late.
been on them since 2012. I've been every single day now. You probably see me on there now. Fish. I've been on that one. I've been on Tinder. I've been on Black People Meet. I've been on what's the other ones? The swipe, black swipe. I've been on all of them. You can see
Right.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can find me. I'm always looking for somebody. Okay. No.
Yeah, I don't. I agree. Apps are good when you're single. It's I don't think there's nothing unnatural about it, because it's, to me, it's almost like going to the store. You can pick out what you really want, the attributes that you really want, whatever. But just like going to the store, just because it looked good and the store, don't mean that when you bite into it, it's
It's
still
okay.
any
Right.
good. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good thing with the apps too. You can just put it back. It'll take you back.
Right.
You're not stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
But we do got a question on the floor. We have, what factor do you think God has in you going from single to a relationship? Good question. We'll start with you, Dominic.
Hmm. I want to say honestly, that can go in a way. It depends on your religion for one. Some people value God in different ways.
Mm.
So you have some people that's mighty, high strung. You have some people that don't have as much faith. So I believe that question can kind of go into honestly either way. But for me personally, I would say it has a lot to do with it. I wouldn't want to date anybody that was atheist or that didn't have a faith in God at all. Some people build their whole foundation off the strength of God alone. So I mean, I feel like it plays a huge part in your relationship. But like I say, it depends on each individual. Everybody's different. So it's no.
Mm.
I feel like with that question, there's no real way to really honestly answer that. It depends on the person itself.
All
But
right.
for me, it
Um,
play a part. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
so, oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to. For me personally, as it pertains to what factor do we think God has in going from a single to a relationship? Well, personally, for me, I want to make sure I hear from God directly because, let's be real. I'll be 39 next week, and I wouldn't want to waste any more time. So with me, I'm constantly praying, constantly asking God to lead me. Because sometimes Stephanie wants the flesh. I'm all, and sometimes I may put God aside and say, like, look now, I want this flesh. But then I would jump back into it may take me a couple of days, but I would jump back into reality, and I'll be like, okay, God, even though I want this man, even though he has all of the credentials, all of the characteristics, the personality that I want, and we're vibing together, I need to hear from you, and I need to know what is it that you want, because although I want it and I like it, I want to see what you have. I want to hear from you, and you may take me a different, a different direction, which would be the right direction. And I may be hurt, I may be sad, I may be pouting along the way, but I know that ultimately
Yeah.
his direction is the right direction to go.
Absolutely. Um, I think it's a lag in my computer. Let's see. Yeah. Mm. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
I
loud and
think it's
clear.
a lag in my computer. So I want you guys to go ahead and answer this question. So from perspective of a woman to a man and a man to a woman, right? And woman to woman. So let's do it like this. Woman to woman for you, Stephanie, and woman to man. What advice would you give someone that is single?
You gonna take that,
You say
Dominic?
woman to man, so me to a woman. Yeah, yeah, I take that. All right. So my advice for a single woman: don't settle, and I mean that in the highest sense that you can possibly mean it. Because I know for example, let's just say you have women that's 37, 38, that you haven't found your partner yet. Doesn't mean they're not out there. It might just mean it's not the right time. But the one thing I learned from my situation personally was don't settle. I feel like a lot of women settle for a man that they know that they're not compatible with, or they're just such in a rush to get somebody there just to have that flesh, that feeling that you don't be lonely at nighttime, that you may make a whole wrong choice and you might miss the person that's out there for you settling. So my biggest thing for any single woman out here, I know those nights are lonely. I know, you wish you had that companionship, that help, but just don't settle. I can't stress that enough. I I rather I would rather see a woman happy than to literally see her struggle and trying to keep up with somebody that's not for her. Because she
Mm,
rather have somebody there in the flesh of a real person or the best person for you. So just don't settle.
all right. What advice would you give a man?
Whew. Everything that's glitter ain't gold. That's first and foremost. I feel like as you get older, especially now that I'm in my 30s, Not saying you can't find somebody that you're attracted to, but looks isn't everything, you know. And take your time. No, don't look at the ratios. Actually, get a chance to kind of know that person or get a feel for that person, opposing to, don't get caught up on sex. Uh, Somebody might have some good sex, but they might be an ugly person. I mean, don't get caught up on the finances. Person might have this G wagon, or but you don't know how the person is internally. Can you see yourself with that person, or can you picture a future? For me personally, being a single man, if I can't picture a future with you, we have nothing to talk about. If we can't have an intelligent conversation, we have nothing to talk about. I don't care how you look or how much money you have. If I can't picture something with you, was that the issue at the start? Don't string it out. I'm not getting any younger, so I'm not gonna waste any more time. So I guess it don't settle for men too. There's two sides of it.
That is good. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My computer is absolutely frozen. So I'm going to keep going. Do I look frozen to you guys?
Yeah, a
Oh,
little. Your eyes are blinking a little.
okay. I may remove myself and come back, but I want go ahead, Stephanie. I want you to answer the same question, like give advice to a man from a single woman's perspective, and to another woman. Or
So my advice to the men out there, something that Dominic said that he said he lives in Georgia and there's plenty of women. So my advice to the men is there could be plenty of women out here, but I guess she left. There could be plenty of women out here, but it's not a lot of women to call your wife, or you have to, I guess, get into learn who that woman is, learn to see if, she may look good on the outside. She may have all of, everything that you want. But then once you really get to know that woman, then she may not be wife material, or she may use you for your money and to get different things like that. So it may be plenty of women out here, but it's a shortage of wives out here. And I guess my advice for single women would be more so to take your time. Don't rush into any type of a relationship. Get a chance to know yourself. Evaluate all situations. See if that man is really serious about making you his wife. Be intentional about dating. Don't just date because, he may be good looking, or he may, come to you or pursue you. You also have morals and values as well. So you want to make sure that you too are dating with intentionality. So I guess Carrie will be on
Mm,
soon. Just waiting.
yeah, just waiting. But let's see. No, no. All right. Well, I guess we're waiting on Miss Coleman to come back. But
Yes, we waiting on her. She'll be back.
yeah,
She will be back.
but I tell you what, just to piggyback off that somewhat, the biggest challenge that I've been having, like as a single man, especially here, like I say, you do have choices, and what you said is right. You might have, it might be a lot of women out here, but it's not a lot of wives. So
Mhm.
I feel like the term wife or husband or marriage, it gets thrown around loosely. I know plenty of
Mhm.
people, plenty of married guys that cheat. I know a few women that cheat as well. Y'all just a little better at what y'all doing, I would say. But for me personally, I plan on getting married one time. I don't believe in divorce. You're gonna die with me. Well, that's the plan at least.
Right.
I feel like with communication, you can live through anything or you can get through any problem. But you have to be vulnerable, and that's something that a lot of men, especially men don't want to be vulnerable at no point in time. It's okay to be vulnerable, and it's likewise with a woman. But men, you have this pride, like it's not okay to cry sometimes, or you can't
Mhm.
you can't show any weakness, or you can't show, you just certain things. A man is kind of cold growing up, or at least how I grew up. you're not supposed to do these things. A man supposed to be a provider. That's your role. That's your everything. But at the same time, what about the compassion? So me
Right.
being a man, and me knowing what I know now that I'm in my 30s and what I'm looking for and what I'm not looking for, and what I'm willing to put up with. The biggest thing for me about being single is communication. If I have
Mm.
communication, I feel like my life is out there. So I learned that you can't base everything off looks. You can't base everything off occupation. You literally have to take your time with a person and figure them out and communicate. You don't necessarily have to be a yes man. You can bend, but you don't have to break. If somebody's causing you more trauma than what it's worth, just let it go. And you might
I
really like
agree
this
with you.
person going on, but that doesn't mean you settle. But going back to settling.
Yeah, I agree with you. I plan on getting married one time. I've been fortunate enough to live in the household. My parents are still married 40 years. My grandparents are married 64 years, and my grandparents before that, I think about over 50 years, a little over 50 years, I believe. And so I've been surrounded with successful marriages. So that's one thing I want to, just one time, like you sticking with me through thick and thin. If you don't like Stephanie's personality, if you don't like what I say, you should have found that out before you put a ring on it, because you're not going anywhere. Carrie texted me and she said that she wanted me to talk about, I guess, my journey. My journey is I have everything. I know that one thing about me is that I am a praying woman. And with everything that I do, I pray. With everything that I do, I fast. Fasting is definitely a lifestyle for me. It's not something that I just talk about. It's something that I really, believe in. And I don't fast to try to make God move. Now, that's not to say sometimes I do want God to move in my sometimes I do want God to move, in my situations, and then, have favor on my life. But that's not the purpose the purpose of fasting. So what I did was this summer, my parents and I just kept dating, all throughout, just not this summer, just throughout my entire adulthood, just dating and just coming in and out of these bad relationships, or getting my heart broke, or either he wants me, I don't want him, or I want him and he don't want me, and I just got sick and tired of it. So my mom and my dad and I this summer, we did a 3-day fast, and I asked God to just kind of give me discernment on who my husband is, or allow me to have a clear vision of what it is that he wants to do as it pertains to this relationship. So my parents and I, hey, Carrie.
Hey, sorry, I had to get on my cell phone. But go ahead. I can hear you guys. Great job. Thank you.
Okay. So I was just talking about, I just got right with talking about the fast. So my parents and I did a 3-day fast this summer, and it was a juice fast where we just drank juice, and my dad called me every day, and we did a prayer, and just not really praying that God would bring somebody right then and there, but just praying that I have discernment and I don't, keep going into all of these bad relationships, and that I clearly and truly hear from God as to what he wants me to do in relationships. And at the end of this, at the end of last year, probably October, whatever, he brought someone that's in my life that that's really good for me. We're going through some difficult times right now, but he and I have been inseparable since the first day that we met. Since the first day, and he's a really good. He matches my personality, and we kind of bounce off of each other, and it's been really good.
Wow. I wanted Stephanie to share that, because her story was, when she told me her parents fasted with her, I was like, girl, that is huge. Like, I was like, I'm gonna call my parents tonight. Like, hey, I need y'all to be on it. Just like you guys are talking about, I caught part of it, dealing with marriage and stuff like that. I had the same thing, because sometimes being around your parents and married couples, you automatically gravitate to that. So sometimes you can't even appreciate being single too, because you're so fixated on what you've seen and grew up seeing. And similar to Stephanie, it went beyond my parents. Like I have cousins that's married and everybody that's married, but I do have learned and being, kind of single is that understanding that sometimes God has a purpose for your singleness. And that goes back to kind of what Janelle was asking. If you don't really develop yourself and love yourself, going back to some of the stuff we talked about last week with self-love, it's no way that you can be healthy in a relationship either. Because yes, a lot of us can get in a relationship. You said it was a shortage, a lot of women ratio here in Atlanta, but there's also a lot of men.
Hey,
So
Carrie,
you
it's a
can get in a
real,
relationship, but if you're not, it's a lot into marriage. Did you? Okay.
no, it's a lag. We can't. You're breaking up really bad. It's a lag. We can't hear anything that you're saying really.
No, not much.
Okay. Even right now. Yeah.
When I heard that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
So I was just gonna say, Dominic, did you have anything that you wanted to add about your journey? So your journey as you just started.
Yeah, just started. I mean, for me, my journey, I just had to figure it out. Honestly speaking, when you with somebody for so long, you really get accustomed to a lot of things, whether it's good or it's bad, and just getting accustomed to, just really getting accustomed to new things in general. You know, different women, different backgrounds. The pressures of getting married from people after so many years. So my journey was definitely a long one. Hopefully I don't go through something that long again, but it was a tough journey. It was a lot of ups. It was a lot of downs. It's kids involved. It's finances involved. Uh, you think you have everything figured out, and then it's a whole 180. Everything changes. So my journey, I feel like, was a long one, but I want to say in the year 21, I'm making a lot of changes. I know what I did wrong. I realized it, so I won't repeat those same mistakes. Just growing as a man, you know, getting better with communication. You have to realize what's wrong with you to go forward and change things. So and that's right. Don't overlook the red flags. That's a big thing right there. Don't literally don't overlook the red flags. Take your time. Don't turn the other way sometimes. I try to look at stuff for what it is, and I really truly feel I'm a straightforward person. Sometimes I feel like I'm too straightforward, but I honest, I honest, I honestly think I would rather you tell me the truth than tell me a lie. So the one thing that going forward that I do, like whatever it is, I can deal with whatever you need to deal with. Tell me the truth. So put the ball in my court and let me handle it and see where I want to go from there. So my journey hasn't been like a super long journey. I've been single for maybe about a year and a half now. A lot of people probably think I'm married, honestly. I don't do a lot of social media blasting, or my personal life is not on social media. I The way you view me is how I allow you to view me. So a lot of people probably is probably just finding out I'm single, and I've been single for almost a year and a half now. So it's an interesting journey. It's new, and I know just not to double back and make the same mistakes, or to be
Mm-hmm.
and just to be more open with the person I'm dealing with, and be straightforward. If life's not perfect, people not perfect, um, if you just want me to be honest, hell, I mean, I'm just learning. Every day is a new learning. It's a stepping stone. So that's all I can really say. It's learning who you are, learning what you want to deal with, who you want to deal with, and putting the things to the forefront that's important. Oh yeah, one more thing. This had nothing to do with it
Absolutely.
really, but I just want to talk about the pressure of getting married. I feel like so many people put so much pressure, or they want to paint the picture of marriage. And sometimes you really got to take your time to get to know the person, which everybody moves on a different
Wait, let me
timeline.
let me let me pause
Right?
you right there. Let me pause you right there. You hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you said you got to take your time, but how much is too much time? I know I want to talk about that next week, but some people don't want to rush into marriage, but how long do you think you need to stay in a relationship before marriage is the next step?
Honestly, that depends on the person. Like you say, like let's say for instance, you have women here. You might have a woman that put her whole career first. She might be 36, 35, 37. And you know that in the women head, I feel like the time is ticking for a baby, or the time is ticking to where you want your family. I talked to some women to where their timeline was now. Like, hey, I don't have any kids. I make good money. My career is here, just waiting on that man. I want a man, but don't need a man. So it varies on the person. You got some people that want kids right away. You got some people who don't want kids at all. It's no clear timeline. It just depends on the person and what y'all discuss. So I ran into many different women, and it's just a difference. You don't know what nobody wants until you talk and communicate. So I don't think I want any more kids right now. But to the same token, if I were to meet somebody and we were to have something really special, I would at least have the option open to have one more kid. Don't mean I want one, but I feel like if I get
Right.
married, I should give my wife the option to really start their family because some people don't truly believe you have a real family until they actually have a piece of you. So to answer your question, it depends on the person. I feel like it depends on the
Okay.
person.
Stephanie, how long, Stephanie, what do you think?
Well, I think it just depends on a couple. I mean, I don't think it's a timeline. If you meet somebody and you all decide to get married after a month of knowing each other, then that's that. If you
Yeah.
a year now, with that being said, I'm not waiting 5, 6, 7 years for you to make a decision. I mean, I'm not doing it. So if you're gonna wait 5, 6, 7 years to make a decision, I'm out. Period. I don't have time because I do feel as though, I'm not a man, so I don't know. I do feel as though a man knows what he wants when he see it. It doesn't take a man a long time to figure out if he wants that woman or not. Now, he may have to get his finances together and get some things in order before he popped the question. But to drag it out, years and years and years, no. And whatever years and years and years, that's a definition, that woman can decide, but I don't think, getting married too soon, after 3 months, after 1 month, I think it's, whatever that person or whatever that couple decides.
Yeah. Dominic, you was making faces. Why are you making faces?
Well, no, because well, because okay, so yeah, it's kind of picking back on what she's saying as far as like let's say a timeline thing. Like she said, well, 4 or 5 years. I'm not gonna wait that long, which I can understand. That is a long time to figure out. Now, at the same time, let's say for me, for instance, I dated a woman that was a doctor, right? I make pretty decent money in my field of what I'm doing, but it's not doctor pay. So, and this is why I go back to say, don't settle. Or I feel like men have it easier in Georgia as far as like you don't have to settle as much. A woman can have a whole career, good money, the whole nine, and just literally be missing a man, want a man, but don't need a man. And you can take somebody like myself, who I got out of a 8, 9 year relationship. My money's okay, my credit is pretty good. I know what I bring to I know what I bring to the table as a man. I know package deals or whatever it is. Whatever's in front of me, I'm going to take care of that. But you have some women or a woman that I met, even the doctor that I met and I was talking to, she ready to have kids. She ready to buy a house. Like this is 2, 3 months of dating, because she felt like she waited so long in her career. So I agree, there's no timeline, but to the same token, how fast is too fast? Like
Yeah.
I'm not ready to get married to you. I'm not ready to have kids. It's been three
Mhm.
months, but because her career, she was just ready to just take off right away. So I mean, it definitely depends on a couple and a timeline, but I don't
Yeah.
think I would need 4 or 5 years to figure out if this woman for me. Maybe after a couple of months, I might know, like, well, you know what, this is the woman that I think I want to marry. But as you go over time, things changes. So communication plays the biggest part in everything. But 4 or 5 years, I don't think you need that much time to figure it out. But you can also think you might be able to marry somebody or might be ready to marry somebody within a few months, and then get the ring on your finger. It's a whole different ball game. I experienced that. Well, I didn't experience that. I have friends of mine that experienced that, whether it's a man or a woman. Sometimes things change when you get that ring.
Yeah, I agree with Angela. I think a lot of times men and women are not on the same
Mm-hmm.
page when it comes to certain things, and that's you have to have that communication. That goes back to even when we are talking about the dating apps. One thing you can say is that people put in their description looking for marriage, not looking for marriage, looking for a hookup. So you already know you can weave through the people who are serious and want what you want versus people who want to waste your time. Um, so I don't know if we have any more questions, but I'm gonna wrap us up because I'm having all these technical issues over here today. I'm like, man, on my favorite one I want to talk about, I don't have all these issues. They ain't know the devil, but we got our points across and things that I wanted people to hear about being single and knowing the best way to do it. And, we talked about that. And that's also, number one, I want to say is having a relationship with God and making sure that, that is strong because God will give you discernment on people. He will give you discernment on your situations. And sometimes like we said, it's no timeline. Sometimes you have to grow with a person first. My parents, I think they knew each other a year. Now they've been married 50 years. Some people have been married. I mean, they dated for 6 years and they got a strong marriage now. So it isn't no timeline. You just got to know the individual, and you need to be like I agree with Angela said again on the same page. So I'm gonna let you guys have your closing thoughts. Also, let people know how they can find you, follow you on your social media, and tell us a little bit what you're doing, and then we'll end on that note. We can start with you, Stephanie.
Closing thoughts to my single women. Just I know that it can be lonely out there. I know that we can get kind of on the desperate side, especially if we've never been married. If you've never went to the altar and committed to that union, and you can kind of rush. I know, and I'm saying that not because I'm just saying it. I know it from experience. I've never been married, but I know, from experience about rushing. So I would just say, please first get in tune with who God is. And when I say get in tune with who God is, just read the word. I'm not saying spend 5, 6, 7 hours on the word. I'm not even say spending an hour in work. Maybe take about 5 minutes out of your day. And that definitely it will grow. And ask God, say, Lord, I need to hear from you. I need to hear your voice so that I can, know which direction to go. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on everything is the Dr. Stephanie. That's THEDR Stephanie. Also, a podcast, The Dr. Stephanie Show, which is on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube. And that's it. I hope to connect and see all of you all one day.
All right,
Before
and
we go to
as far as
Dominic,
my
did you want
closing,
to answer this question? Oh, I believe.
hmm, okay, yeah, I might be able to answer. How hard can married people make it on single people by stepping outside their marriage? I feel like okay, so I feel like in 2021, um, marriage. Even though I said I plan on getting married one time, so I'm going to be picky. I'm going to not settle. I'm going to definitely take my time and make sure that this woman is on for me because like I said, in the end of the day, that's it. I don't believe in divorcing. However, we are not in the 60s or 70s no more to where you have those grandparents and you have those great grandparents and aunties that married 40, 50 years because it's a different time. You know, I believe a lot of time back in those days, the man worked and the woman pretty much held down the household. We live in a whole different generation now. You got women that's the breadwinner of their relationship, or you got women in higher positions, and some women feel like they don't have to take the crap that a man dishes out to them because this is not the olden times. So I feel like for the people that step on their marriage to a single person, it makes it a lot harder to get married because you see so many divorces, or you see how easily this person cheat, whether it's man or female. And I believe it puts a little pressure on the people that is single. Even if you single and you want to get married, how serious do you take a person when they present you the idea of marriage? When you see this is all around you, everybody's situation is different. But I want to say the value of marriage to me is not what it used to be. You don't see those 40, 50-year marriages no more. It's like microwave ovens, quick and easy, fast, over with. So it's a lot of pressure. And single people stepping out, it just I don't know, it's just a lot of pressure. I don't I see a value in marriage. That's why I take it so seriously. That's why I'm dating with a purpose. I'm not dating every woman. I'm not in every woman's inbox. But I'm gonna tell you, they make it pretty hard because I know a lot of people that step out of their marriage. Whether I know you personally, whether it's something I heard, whether it's a woman reaching out to me, or whatever the case. It's not marriage is not valued the same, so they make it real hard.
Yeah, it can be. So you can kind of unless you that was part of it.
I can't even hear you no more. But I guess my closing thoughts is for all the fellas or all the single fellas that's out there, you know don't settle. Don't be a nickel out here looking for a dime. That's a really true statement. You got a lot of people out here who want this but bring this to the table, and just strive to get better. Focus on your potential, and just you know hopefully not be single for too long.
Okay.
Oh yeah, as far as the social media, you can reach me at IG as
Mhm.
Chef Agba, and on Facebook Dominic Agbalaya, and I'll be starting my podcast soon. This motivated me to do something and realize I have a voice and people actually like to listen. So I'll let it get into working.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on tonight and dealing with all my technical difficulties. I have not had these many difficulties at all in any other show, so I don't know why today it decided to act up. But I do appreciate your patience and the patience of the audience. And everyone, you know how you can find me at Carrie Jemii on all social media platforms. I am here every Tuesday at 7:30. Next week we will. This show was about being single, meaning that you didn't have a boo and you out there, right? Just learning this new journey. Next week we're going to talk to people who are booed up, and somebody mentioned this dating with a purpose and how to date with a purpose. So tune in next week. The week after that, we're going to have some married couples on. Uh, between 6 to 50 years in marriage, and they're going to talk about their journey and what marriage looked like in Black love and how we can promote that, because we don't want to be, like what Dominic said, a microwave society or race, because in our race we are the ones behind in those areas, and because understanding what marriage really is too. It's a partnership, it's a business, it's a lot, and if you do it right, you can have a very prosperous life by having a great partner. And then my last lesson session this month is going to be life after divorce, and understanding that you still have life after divorce and you still can get back out there and reclaim who you were prior to your marriage. So I look forward to seeing everybody. And again, thank you for staying around, and thank you my guests for joining in. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.